Evening, it's Brian Paragamian, Senior Trader and co-founder of ProfessionalStockTraderLive.com, and this is the update for Monday, February 23rd. And what another bludgeoning day we had on Wall Street. A lot of bloodshed again, down 250 points, down some 3.5%. If we keep dropping like this, we're going to be at zero on the Dow Jones in another 30 trading days. Stop and think. We are now down almost 50% from the highs. Do you think our government gets it just yet? This uncertainty continues to cause bloodshed and take wealth from the pocketbooks of the American people, and you would think they would get it just yet, but they haven't. And I don't think they understand the complexity of the problem, quite frankly, to be honest with you, as you might hear a little bit of anger in my voice. I don't think they get the problem. I don't think they know how to fix the problem. And if they know how to fix the problem, I think they'd have already come out with something. I think that's what the stock market's telling us. And to think that we're in a recession with the stock market correcting 50%, I think is an understatement. Could it be that we're maybe in a slight depression? I think maybe. You've got the likes of GE now trading at $8.85. You got the likes of Citibank probably going under unless they're nationalized by the government. You've got the likes of Las Vegas Sands, probably on its way going bankrupt. You got the likes of dry ships, that debt burden, having issues. You've got so many issues across this economy and so many major companies I think you're going to find going under this year, unless, of course, the government subsidizes everyone and bails everybody out, that I think you've got major problems. Now, I talked about the Dow breaking down below 74.49, thinking that in time it would break 7,000. I didn't think it would happen here this week, but it sure looks like we're on the precipice of that. We are now getting oversold on the McClellan Oscillator. We're now going to be in the very deeply oversold territory, well over 300 after today's readings come out, which I do not have yet, but boy, what a bloodbath here. And one thing I want to stress right now is do not let anybody sell you on the fact that gold is your hiding place and the next savior and your next home run to success, because they're just absolutely dead wrong. I hear all kinds of brokers out there, and the masses are now trying to sell you something, anything. Their business is dried up, and they want to sell you something. They want to sell you on a fear factor that we're going to have hyperinflation when we come out of this. Well, guess what? We have such a deflation in the cost of housing now that you can give houses away almost. And their big selling point is, well, look at all the money that the government is printing. They're printing all this money to bail the banks out. But guess what? This money that they're bailing the banks out with isn't ever going to come back into the economy. It's there to bail the banks out. That's it. So the fact that they're printing money is not inflationary. It's never going to enter the economy. Even though the money supply would increases, you'll see an increase in the money supply, it doesn't mean prices are going to rise. That's the bottom line. And these spin masters out there are trying to fool the masses, including you. And you're smarter than that, I think, because we're talking about this, and I think you're catching on. Remember, our system, in our system, debt creation is money creation. And massive debt creation is inflationary because it's leveraged. And the banks are the ones who leverage this here by credit cards, by handing out loans. And they're not going to be able to do that anymore. All we saw back several years ago was hyperinflation in capital assets like homes and prices and stocks. That was due to out-of-control derivatives money creation. That's all ended. The 25-year debt orgy is over. We give out some of the dumbest loans ever to some of the most unqualified borrowers ever. And now we're suffering this tidal wave of loan defaults. It's like a tsunami. All we're seeing now is a destruction in money. Money is being destroyed in the United States like it's never been destroyed before, and as a result, we're entering into a time of deflation. We've probably been in it for the last year. We're in a massive money destruction with loan default, and it's continued unchecked, and deflation is going to become the theme. And with deflation, you may end up having a full-blown depression. Banks are not making leveraged loans anymore. That's a fact. They're not creating money. They will not be able to create money for several years to come. Think about it, they're still too busy trying to cover their massive loan losses, which are due to the derivatives. We've got problems here, but we're going to get through them together. And what I am trying to caution you is don't let anybody sell you on the fact that gold is the next latest and greatest, because we've heard these speeches before. And I've just explained to you why you're not going to have inflation, but deflation. This happened. Japan had deflation for years. They printed money, and guess what? They never had inflationary pressures. They had interest rates at zero for I don't know how many years, and they're basically still at zero. So don't let anybody fool you. I don't have a whole lot to talk about in the way of stocks because I don't have any real trading ideas other than to say I think this market is positioning itself, I still believe this, it is positioning itself to have a very sharp reversal. And it may have to come from underneath 7,000 first, maybe we drop into the upper 6,000, and then we rally, but we are positioning ourselves to have some type of a meaningful rally. And I think somewhere out of this 7,000, 6,800 to 7,000 area, we're going to turn and reverse, and we're going to rally with vengeance. And I still am looking for a rally back up into this breakdown area of this upper 7,000, let's call it 7,800, 7,900 to 8,100 on the Dow. And I'd be looking for that coming here in the coming days. Now, I don't expect a rally, I don't expect the market to rally up to 8,000 up in that zone over the next day or two, but I think that's on the forefront here in the coming week, week and a half. So let's be on the lookout for a reversal at any time. We are expecting Timothy Geithner, the Treasury Secretary, to come out with something here tomorrow, I believe. And let's hope they've smartened up and at least, if nothing else, they give us some clarity. Try and have yourselves a great evening. We'll see you in the morning. For those of you that tune into the videos, and have a great evening and hang in there. We'll get through this together. Have a great night.